Hey there, my name is Mark Mann. Nice to meet you guys. My friend Hillary Moore introduced me to Stephen Kennedy, and I heard something about you guys coming to Montreal and wanting to explore some different ways that people are living and do some thinking about gentrification and maybe nature. So Hillary just sent me a note and wondered if I had any thoughts for you guys. I've been living in Montreal for, I don't know, 15, 16 years or something. I went to school here and came back 10 years ago, and love this city so much. It's just very happy to live here, and one of the things that I love most of all about this city is the system of alleyways. So I really wanted to make sure that you guys take some time to walk around and just be in the alleyways and just experience the city from this view. So the thing that you got to understand about Montreal is that the whole city is built with medium density housing. That's significant because nowadays in a lot of urban planning and city planning, medium density housing is sort of considered the smart solution that a lot of cities want more of, and they sort of have different ways of doing that, and it's a lot of effort and new development. Montreal is kind of an amazing city because the whole city was built this way. So it's almost most places that you go is attached housing, 3 stories high, sometimes with a 4th story kind of setback, and usually 3 to 6 apartments in these buildings. Whose, walls are all touching. So on the street side, you have the sort of famous Montreal walk-up stairs up to the different levels, which are a bit perilous in the winter. And then in the back, you have all these different alleyways. And so it's almost like an entirely parallel, parallel city that, belongs to kids and pets and animals at night, and people out for a prowl, and dads walking their babies, and it's a sort of public or commons kind of city. There's no shops, and has all the kind of character that people invest in it. So one of the things that's kind of nice about walking in alleyways is that it really makes you appreciate people. There's all the different ways that people cultivate nature in their backyards, and the way that they let it kind of, just nurture it, and the way that it spills out, and it's a lush feeling, but also lots of care that people put into little signs of care, little benches or bits of art or signs. And so there's frequently a kind of warm feeling, a sense of encouragement, permission to be. It's just different than when you're on the street and you're seeing shops and storefronts and just more of the formal public environment. It's a kind of DIY, handmade public space, in the alleyway, and you do find a cute spot to sit down, and it's quiet and shaded. It can be just a really good feeling. I mean, that being said, I think one of the reasons that you see a lot of benches and stuff in the alleyways is that depending on what neighborhood you're in, but in many neighborhoods, the alleyways are kind of the kingdom of children, and so I think sometimes parents put benches and seating out just so they can hang out back there while their kids run around and play. There's not many cars that pass through the alleyways. There's not much parking back in the alleyways. There's a bit, but for the most part, they're just not really used that way. I'm probably speaking a bit more to my neighborhood, which is up in Villeray, north of, just above Little Italy, up by Jean Talon Market. But I guess if you're thinking about gentrification, you know, I think the alleyways provide a lens on inclusivity if you do think about children and sort of creating city spaces that are dominated by, you know, young people or very young people and are safe for them. And certainly some alleyways you go into, you know, it's really ruled by the kids, and you gotta just keep moving, you know. In general, you gotta just keep moving in the alleyways because they are sort of intimate, or, you know, they are kind of an extension of people's backyards. And then on the inclusivity front, I do like to think about animals and wild animals. You know, wild animals are a bit happier back here, and pets or cats, you know, move around and make territories. So that's another just aspect of communal life that alleyways enable. Montreal also has this program called Green Alleyways, les ruelles vertes, and so sometimes you'll see a kind of collective effort form around, you know, kind of gaining this status, and there's usually a sign put up, and streets have to kind of band together and take a certain amount of responsibility. My alleyway is a green alleyway, but it became that before I moved in there, and so I know that some people take responsibility for connecting with the city. I mean, there's a requirement to do some special cleanup times twice a year and that kind of thing. But you can definitely tell which alleyways, you know, are like this, and some are really like their own small little, you know, towns almost, with a ton of character. And sometimes people will put down AstroTurf, and do all kinds of things to try to slow traffic and make them, you know, into communal spaces. So you should keep an eye out for those and just see what they're like. And it's just another thing that just makes you like people, and you see how they, you know, create a shared space like that. There is some tension in alleyways, is that they are kind of great spots to go in the evening if you're more of a night person, or if you like to prowl, which I confess I personally do. But as a middle-aged man, you know, it's much more socially acceptable for me to be walking in alleyways with my baby or my son, my older son. I do think some of the care that gets invested into alleyways is partly to make them, to kind of signal them as family spaces, and maybe disincline, you know, people to use them for as places to use drugs or whatever. And it can be hard because they're really, especially in family-oriented neighborhoods, like where there are a lot of children, like where I live, you know, you really do want the alleyway to feel safe. And, you know, we've had at different times, you know, different street-involved people spend a lot of time in our alleyway, and it was uncomfortable, you know. And I think it was also fun, you know. But I think there's just a tension, you know, that plays out, and I do think that when people really beautify the alleyways and personalize them, then I think that, you know, just is also a bit of a curb on maybe illicit activity. So I think that, you know, that's probably also just one of the factors that kind of goes into it. So I think alleyways around the city are all going to give like a kind of different texture, you know. definitely if you come up to Villeray, like the neighborhood where I am, or over in Rosemont or Little Italy, all these kind of areas up in the vicinity of Jean Talon Market, you're gonna find alleyways with a lot of life and a lot of character and a lot of, you know, warmth. Other parts of the city are more are going to give you a different energy, but you're going to find sort of adventure and curiosity around the whole city in different ways. So some neighborhoods probably want to be a bit more careful, but really in general, I think you're going to find art and all kinds of signs of life and all kinds of personality and humanity and just a whole big bustling city, you know, away from just the world of commerce, you know, that and cars and that dominates the main streets. So you know, just try out, see where you can go. Try getting a certain distance and make note of the things that charm you or that you find intriguing, or that I really hope you enjoy it. I hope this advice is useful. I'll mark up a little map to also help you pick some areas if you do feel like exploring Montreal's alleyways. Good luck, guys.